So, hello everyone and welcome to another vlog. So we are doing yet another TBR Co reading recommendation because we have a lot. We are still in like 2020, I do believe I got this. So, let's just talk about the 3 books that were picked for this round. So basically, and then I have already read 2 of them, so we're just going to talk about them and then talk about what the last one is about. So, basically, the first one, let's just talk about them. Yeah, so the first book we're going to talk about is Vanessa Yu's Magical Paris Tea Shop. And in the recommendation letter, it says, I hate using the term woman's fiction, but if I had to describe this one, it's about a young woman throwing caution to the wind to rediscover herself and the direction she wants in life. It's set in Paris, which is great for some armchair traveling right now, and has some whimsical magical realism. And what it says, we're just going to read it. It says, Vanessa Yu never wanted to see people's fortunes or misfortunes in tea leaves. Ever since she can remember, Vanessa has been able to see people's fortunes at the bottom of their teacups. To avoid blurting out their fortunes, she converts to coffee, but somehow fortune escapes and finds a way to complicate her life and the ones of those around her. To add to this plight, her romance life is non-existent, that her parents enlist the service of a matchmaking expert from Shanghai. After her matchmaking appointment, Vanessa sees death for the first time. She decides that she can't truly live until she can find a way to get rid of her uncanny abilities. When her eccentric aunt Evelyn shows up with a tempting offer to whisk her away, Vanessa says au revoir to California and bonjour to Paris. Paris. There Vanessa learns more about herself and the root of her gifts and realizes one thing to be true. Knowing one's destiny isn't a curse, but being unable to change it is. So, yeah, I gave it these 3 stars. Overall, I really liked it. It wasn't like a new favorite thing. I just found myself drifting a little and didn't like fully love the experience of this book, but overall I really did, like how kind of this book concluded, just because it's definitely like a woman's fiction with some romance elements, and it is magical realism in this book. But yeah, overall I really did enjoy it. I like to be set somewhere else than, in the States or somewhere else. And yeah, it was really good writing style. It was really good. Yeah, I just didn't love this book, but a 3 stars from me is still not, awful. It's still a really good book, and I can definitely see myself trying something else from Rosalie Lim, which wrote this book, because overall it was a really decent book, and yeah, I really liked how it wrapped up, So that was the first book, and yeah, 3 stars, a totally fine book. And yeah, then the next one is Lush Money. And this one, it says in the recommendation letter, for a sexy contemporary read, I recommend Lush Money, especially in the ways it flips the billionaire trope in romance. Here the heroine is the billionaire who is desperate for an heir. The hero is a struggling prince who is trying to revitalize his kingdom's vineyards, hot with a good dose of angst. And it says, a marriage of convenience and 3 nights a month. That's all the sultry self-made billionaire wants from the impoverished prince. And at the end of the year, she grants him his divorce, with a settlement large enough to save his beloved kingdom. As a Latinx woman, Roseanne Medina Roxanne Medina has conquered small-town bullies, Ivy League snobs, and boardrooms full of men. She's earned the right to mother a princess and feel a little less lonely at the top. The offer she's made is more than generous, and when the contract's fulfilled, they both walk away with everything they ever wanted. Prince Mateo Ferdinand Juan Carlos, too long of a name, de Esperanza y Santos is one of the top wine growers in the world, and is not marrying and having a baby with a stranger, even if the millions she's offering could save his once legendary wine producing principality. But the successful single-minded beauty uses a weapon Prince Matteo hasn't counted on, his own desire. I think I'm also going to give this 3 stars. So overall, I really like this book. I really like how it's the heroine who is the CEO. Like, she is the one that has the money, and I'm really liking that twist of it. Now, it might just be the audiobook, to be completely honest, because it didn't fully grab my attention. And I just felt like I didn't love this as much as I, love. I mean, Marriage of Convenience is definitely one of my favorite tropes. I love that. Also, kind of this, let's call it hate to love, because they obviously kind of, he don't want her to. That sounds really wrong, but I mean, yeah, and yeah, so I think I'm just going to give this 3 stars. Yeah. Overall, I think it's the audiobook that kind of ruined a little. It's definitely a book that I would recommend to others because it's a good romance book. And, it does it does what romances just wants you to kind of be happy. And I see this has a 3.78 in stars, so it's really good. And yeah. So I'm just going to search up the last one. So the last one is the voting booth. So let's just get a reminder that this particular letter I got in 2020. So it basically says the voting booth. This is such a topical YA contemporary read, given that the United States is about to conduct our presidential election. When Marva sees Duke being turned away at a voting booth, she makes it her mission to get him registered. It's not quite a road trip, but it does include adventuring around their city. So this is definitely a book I have heard of after I got this recommendation, then it started popping up. So yeah. Basically, this is the next book we will be reading for this vlog. And basically, it says, Marva Sheridan was born ready for this world. She's always been driven to make a difference in the world, and what better way than to vote in her first election. Duke Crenshaw is so done with this election. He just wants to get voting over with so he can prepare for his band's first paying gig tonight. Only problem? Duke can't vote. When Marva sees Duke turned away from their polling place, she takes it upon herself to make sure his vote is counted. She hadn't spent months doorbelling and register voters just to see someone deny their right. And that's how their whirlwind days begins, rushing from precinct to precinct, cutting school, waiting in endless lines, turning away time and time again, trying to do one simple thing, vote. They may have started out as strangers, but as Duke and Marva team up to beat a rigged system and find Marva's missing cat, it's clear that there's more to this connection than a shared mission of democracy. Romantic and triumphant, the voting booth is proof that you can't sit around waiting for the world to change, but some things are just meant to be. So, I can cannot say anything more about this book. I don't know if it will be up my league, to be completely honest, because I don't know how the states work. So I don't know if this will be up my league, but let's see if I even like it. So it's like 300 pages, so it's not that long. It's a YA book, so it's probably like a 4 or 5 hour audiobook. So that should not take me too long. So yeah, that's the plan for now, and let's just see how everything is basically going to go with this book. Okay, so I have just finished the last book for this vlog, which is The Voting Booth. And I have to say, I like the romance element, and you know, just how she's helping this person. But for me, I am not that big of a fan of, you know, politics in books. Like, I think it's okay when it is in like a fantasy book where you have politics that you don't know anything about and basically it's just made up. And now the voting booth is set in America. I have no idea how voting in America is working or anything because I'm not from there. So yeah, I give it 3 stars. Overall I liked it, but I just didn't truly, you know, I didn't love it. I didn't want to, you know, it was a pretty short book, and I think that is like one of the reasons why I am giving it 3 stars, you know, and because of the romance element. We all know that I love romance. But yeah, just, it wasn't my favorite, like new favorite book, but overall, it was a good book. It was interesting enough, but it just, for me, I don't love politics in books. I mean, I liked Red, White, and Royal Blue, but that was also mostly because of the romance element. And yeah, I just, yeah, it's just difficult when you have politics that are not in, you know, the country where you live, because then you understand it. Like, hopefully not even then maybe, but you know. And overall, politics is not like something that I am super interested in. It's, yeah, it's just confusing, and I just feel like sometimes they are basically promising things that you know they can't keep. But yeah, I liked to kind of see how this girl helped this boy basically being able to vote. But I just, yeah, I think it was like one day, and that is like really insta-lovey. It's not my favorite thing. So basically, I have to say that I kind of didn't love it, but it was okay. Another thing is that this girl, she has a boyfriend, and yeah, I think it's a shitty boyfriend also, but yeah, I liked it. I didn't like love it. So 3 stars. Overall, it was an okay book. So basically, all the ones in this vlog, I gave 3 stars. So the first part definitely was more successful than, you know, this one. But hopefully the next one will be much better. I am going to start that right now. We have 3 books for that one too. So I'm going to start that pretty much right now because it just fits with the books that I'm reading. So yeah, I hope you liked this vlog, and I will see you next time for another one. Bye!